You're listening to the Valued Podcast with Shayne and Luke Wyler.
You've been taught a lie about your purpose. You've been taught that your purpose is what you do. But the truth is, your purpose is not what you do. Your purpose is a why, not a what. And so in this episode, we're going to be asking the question, is your value as a leader at risk? And we're going to share with you how to clarify your purpose, align all you do with your purpose, and lead from your purpose, so that you can be valued with everybody, everywhere you are. So with that, here's our conversation on, is your value at risk?
Is your value as a leader at risk? That is what we are going to be talking about today. Luke and I are in the studio. Hey, Luke, how's it going?
Good, you?
Really, really good. I absolutely am so excited about this topic today. It's something I've been talking about for a really, really long time, and it's so key in terms of being valued as a leader.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially when you're stepping out into new opportunities, new job places, anywhere really that's just you've never been before.
Yeah, because one of the key things as leaders is people are asking us, why should I follow you? Why should I listen to you? Why should I buy from you? And really, at the end of the day, what is the cost to follow you?
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us, we don't have answers for that. Well, that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to actually help you understand where your value is at risk and then what to do about it. So in the last episode, we covered, if you haven't listened to that yet, we covered 3 common lies that actually rob you of your value and cause you to be devalued. So if you haven't listened to that, highly encourage you take a listen to that, because that's going to feed in right to what we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
So as we've been helping leaders over the last 15 years, there is one key place where all of us, us included, where we get caught in this lie. There's one guaranteed lie. And so we're gonna cover that today. And then in that, we're also gonna go through like 3 steps to basically help you understand how you can be valued. So the very first thing that we need to say right off the top is that your value comes from you fulfilling your purpose. There is a very specific purpose that you have, that you are here for as a leader, as a family, as a company, as a community, and as a country. There's a very specific reason why you're here. Most of us know that, but we have really no idea how to figure out what that is, let alone communicate it to other people in a way that's valuable to them. So we covered this a little bit in the last episode, but I really want to dig into to this first piece, which is there is a lie that we have believed about our purpose. So the very first thing you need to do in order to be valued as a leader is clarify your purpose. You got to know why you're here. You want to say anything about that?
Yeah, well, how many people spend years and years of their life trying to figure out what they think their purpose is, and they come up with a list of essentially falsehoods of what they think that purpose is, and that could be jobs, that could be hobbies, things they want to pursue, that could even be dreams that they have. They think that's the purpose that they're working towards.
Yeah, passions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Goals even. Lots of people confuse all of those things with a purpose that it's actually not their purpose. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So the key thing in that, we're going to go through, as we go through this, I'm going to share with you 3 secrets that we've come across, and 3 lies that are attached to those secrets, and then ultimately share the truth with you about what those are to really unlock those secrets to being valued in relation to fulfilling your purpose. Because at the end of the day, you, as I said already, you have purpose. You have value because you are fulfilling that purpose. So here's the 3 things that you need to do in order to fulfill on your purpose. First, you got to clarify it. You got to know exactly why you're here, as I said. Secondly, you need to align every single thing that you do with that purpose. And what that does as a leader, as a company, as a family, a community, it streamlines everything that you do and helps you cut out everything that you don't need. So you can really focus in on what's actually helping you be valued and what's getting in your way. And then the last thing you need to do is to lead from that purpose. So once you know why you're here and align everything, then the next step is to lead from it, so that every time you step out to lead, you're actually stepping out in your purpose, where you're meant to be, doing what you are meant to do.
When we lead from our purpose, then we're gonna seek places that we can actually lead from, and we're gonna find actual value in those places.
Absolutely. So let's unpack what these 3 secrets are in relation to clarifying your purpose, aligning all you do to that purpose, and then leading from that purpose. So the very first secret, I'm going to share the lie with you and then share the secret. So the very first lie is this, that we've all been taught that our purpose is a what. So the key in this is understanding that your purpose is not a what. It's not what you do. It's not what you get up to do every day as a job. It's not the roles that you play in your life, as you said already, Luke.
Right, not the passions or the goals that you have.
No, those are what's. Those are things that you have that help you fulfill your purpose, but they're not your purpose. Your purpose, here's the truth, your purpose is a why, not a what. It's why you're here, not what you do. So we actually have been trained, at least in this culture, to think of our purpose as a what. Because what do? When the first time we meet somebody, we ask, so what do you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the basic rule of economics and society. Everybody works together in order to bring quality goods at the cheapest price they can. So everybody's doing what they specialize in, and so everybody else benefits from it. And so because that is a good thing, that is what consumes most people. Is they're very focused on how they contribute to society and how they contribute to the economy. And so I think for a lot of people, they get trapped in what they do. And so every single day they're thinking about what I'm going to do today.
Well, and that conversation is as I get older, I've been tracking this. That conversation is happening sooner and sooner in people's lives. So it's becoming very, very important for people, because we know that we spend the majority of our life as we get older doing that, whatever that is. So we understand the importance of understanding what that pursuit is going to be later in life, and then moving backwards, how do we prepare for that, right?
Right.
So, but that's all focused on the what, and the what's changed, and we're going to be doing a future episode about this specifically. But the key thing to remember in that is that your purpose isn't a what, it's a why. And as you understand your why and your purpose, then you actually can see what's actually fit in to help fulfill that. And it focuses all of that in there. So as you clarify your purpose, the what's of life, the roles that you need to play, the jobs you need to have, the positions you need to have in terms of fulfilling on that purpose become super clear and understandable. And then you can actually pursue those things and measure those things and understand, oh, I need this in order to fulfill on this purpose. And all those things start to take shape and come together in a way that otherwise you're just relying on trial and error.
Right, that's so true. Like, how many times would you wake up and you get up, it's the week, and you just sit there dreading what you have to do because you hate your job, you hate the tasks that you have to do that week. But when you really start building your career and the tasks and the projects that you do around why you're here, you can really start seeing value in everything, not just the things that you enjoy doing.
So I think we've naturally moved into the second point, which is aligning everything that you're doing to help you realize your purpose. So I want to give a really simple example, and it may seem really mundane, but I remember years ago, as I was thinking through this, because my purpose is to help you realize your purpose, right? So within that, I was looking at doing the dishes, and I'm like, man, I hate doing dishes. It was my very first job. Professionally, I was a dishwasher when I was a young guy. So I remember washing the dishes one day and being miserable about it because I didn't want to be doing it, even though I knew the value of clean dishes. And then all of a sudden it hit me, and I realized that I'm not doing these dishes simply for me and just because they need to be clean. I'm actually helping my family realize their purpose, because if this house is a mess, then they can't fulfill their purpose because these things are in their way. And even a little silly mundane thing like that all of a sudden had meaning, it had life, it had hope, and it because I knew that in doing that, I was actually fulfilling my purpose in a very actually profound way. Because I've obviously learned with the number of people that we have in our family that things can easily get, disorderly, and then that just affects us all. So every little thing that we can do as a family, or any of us can do as a leader, to help those that we're leading and serving to fulfill their purpose. No small task is small. Everything makes a difference, right? It's like a ripple in the pond. It has enormous effect continually over time.
And that was definitely the same experience for me when I first started writing as more than just a hobby, because writing it's not mundane exactly, but it's one of those things that you can easily just sit there and, it's a little intimidating at first, and it's one of those things you can sort of dread sometimes because you just kind of sit there at your keyboard wondering what you're going to write. But when I looked at it from perspective of doing this is actually helping me fulfill my purpose in the lives of others, it really made a big difference because I was able to find the inspiration to sit there maybe for hours on end and just type until I wrote the right thing.
Yeah, it's so key, because I'm glad that you brought that up, because the other thing that clarifying your purpose and then aligning all you do to it, what it does is it allows you to be sustainable in it, because you over time you learn what's getting in your way, and then you learn, because you can see it. It's clear as day. It's like, wow, when I keep doing this, it actually stops me from being able to fulfill on my purpose. And so then it's easy to move those things out, where without that clarity, you would struggle to break those habits or break those thought patterns, or whatever it is that is getting in your way. It could even be a position. We've led people to understand what their purpose is, who have actually given up major programs in their life. They've quit those programs because they realized it was just a distraction, and they didn't actually need it to fulfill their purpose, which was phenomenal, humbling, and incredibly rewarding to be a part of, because to see somebody with that level of certainty and confidence to go, wow, I've been wasting the last 3 years of my life. I don't need to do that anymore. I just need to get on with doing what it is I'm here to do. Wow, it was incredible to be,
well, how many people,
witness that.
Right. How many people, they spend 10, 15, even 20 years of their life just going to the same office, going to the same school, going to the same college, just putting in their hours to learn stuff, to, get jobs done, make money, whatever it is, just to put their hours in because that's what's expected from them, from society. And really, it's not helping anybody. It's robbing everybody, because you may be making money and you may be learning some things that you're never going to use later in life, but it doesn't help you because you're just making money at the end of the day. You're not being valued for anything you're doing, and you're not actually leading. And it's not helping anybody else in the equation either, because they're not getting the full value. They're not getting the leadership that you are there to offer them.
Right, which leads us to the third point, which is leading from your purpose. So this is where the second two secrets come into play. So the first is that your purpose is a why, not a what. Here's the second lie that traps us all, and especially as we step out to lead and align all we do in order to fulfill our purpose, and that's this feeling that you're not enough.
Yeah, there's so much to be covered under that topic.
Yeah, so much. We could do a whole episode on that. But the key in understanding that is, think about it like this. So as you clarify your purpose and understand why you're here, which we have courses to help you do that. If you're interested, just check out our site to be able to do that, wcompany.ca. It's all there for you. And we've actually created these frameworks in a very simple way to walk you through this, because we know from experience that these are hard things to figure out. Otherwise, everyone would know what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like we wouldn't even have this podcast
Yeah.
if this was easy, because we wouldn't need to be sharing this insight and wisdom that we've learned over the years. So when it comes to fulfilling your purpose and being valued as a leader, first clarifying that purpose, understanding why you're here, and being able to share that and communicate that with others. Immediately what you're confronted with after you do that is, I can't do that. Like, I don't have what it takes to do that. How am I supposed to do that? Because the cool thing about purpose is that it is bigger than us, right? It's truly amazing in that it's bold, it's bigger than us, and it's transforming to everyone that wants to engage in that with you. That's the amazing piece of fulfilling your purpose, is the transformational change that happens as you lead and serve others when you're standing in your purpose. And every single time when you get to that point, when you understand why you're here, you're immediately confronted with, I can't do that. I'm not enough to do that.
How many times have you seen leaders go through that? I mean, I know I've gone through that myself a lot. Like, just when I'm standing in a position of, I can't do this because it's too big for me. And it really is just a horrible sinking feeling. And it's just a lie, is what it is.
Yeah, because the truth is you are enough. And there's this amazing, I want you to picture it like this. So think of a coin, and there's two sides of this coin. On the one side, some of you have been told your whole life, or, when you were younger, at some point in your life, we hear one side or the other of the coin. So the first side is, you're not enough. You're never going to be enough. So just quit now. That's one side, right? Some people, that's how just their experience of life has been, either from their family or from others outside of their family when they're growing up. That's what they learned, that they're not enough. They're never going to be enough. So just give up now. On the other side of that same coin is, you have to be more than enough. You're more than enough. And both of those are a lie, because what they do is they rob you of the truth and the blessing that you are enough actually brings.
When people believe that they're more than enough, it leads to the place of them living their lives trying to prove that they are more than enough. And so they're always going to be doing things to make it seem as they are the biggest and the best and the most qualified in the industry. And that can be personally and also business as well. Like, how many business, they just strive their whole entire lifespan just to be the best in the industry. And that's really what destroys business, because business is about leading and serving your customers. It's not about being the most competitive in the market.
Right. You have competitive advantage the better you fulfill your purpose. That's how it works, right? Because you're actually meeting a real need that you can sustainably meet, because you are enough. You have everything you need to do it. And even if you don't have it, it's available to you to get or create. So within that, as you clarify your purpose, you start to see, what do we actually need to be able to meet the need that we're here to meet in the lives of those that we lead and serve. And that goes for you as a business, for you as an individual leader in your home, in your work, in your community. You're going to understand that there's a very specific need that you're here to help meet. And then in knowing that, you're able to analyze and figure out, okay, so what do I need in terms of the what's, as we were talking about, what do I need, what do we need in order to fulfill on that purpose? And then in that, you realize that's all we need. We don't need any more than that. And you're able to stand in confidence and go, no, look, I know that this is going to work to help solve that need for you. Why? Because we've tested it, we've proven it, and every single time it answers the need if you're willing to accept it and receive it as the gift and offering that it is, right?
Well, and how many people on the other side of the equation say they go to get a job interview, and the boss asks them, "Can you do this job?" And they say, "No, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough for this job." And they stand there literally expecting the boss to see that as, I don't know, good character or humility or something. And it's just, it doesn't make any sense, because people think that when they doubt themselves or when they devalue themselves, when they tell themselves and others that they aren't enough, they automatically assume that people are going to pick them up, and that they're just going to try to make them feel better about themselves.
Give them a chance.
Yeah. They're gonna show them that they are enough. They're gonna help them to learn that they are enough. But in reality, it's not how it works. If you doubt yourself, others doubt you, especially from a place of leadership. If you're standing in front of a crowd and you say, I can't lead you, no one in that crowd is going to tell you, yes, you can. You have what it takes. We'll follow you just to prove it. They'll be, okay, we're going to the next person then.
Exactly. And even on the flip side of that coin, if you're standing in that same scenario and you're in that job interview and they say, you know, are you right for this position? And you say, yeah, I'm more than enough. Like, again, that's still not the right answer because
yeah, that's so true.
Because it's like, well, then why are you applying for this? If you can do more, then why wouldn't you be going for more? It speaks to your character, right? And it ultimately, both of those scenarios, both of those responses in that scenario cause doubt in the person that you're actually trying to win trust in, right? You cause doubt in that person because you didn't just stand in enough, because I'm not going to follow you if you're not standing where you should be.
Yeah.
Right. So either of those statements of I'm not enough to do this, or I'm more than enough to do this, tells the other person that you're actually not standing in the right place. But when you can confidently stand there and go, yes, I am enough to do this, and here's why, it changes the playing field. It changes everything. And people want to follow leaders that have that clarity, because we all know that it's possible. We just necessarily haven't known how to get that for ourselves, but we follow those leaders that are clear on those things and understand their value, which leads me to the third point. The third lie in the third secret is that other people determine your value.
I think every single person who's ever lived has been told that lie at some point in their life. It could be one of the worst secrets out of the three, just because when you let others determine your value, you give up on everything that you're supposed to be doing, and you go and pursue what everybody else says that you're supposed to be doing. And nobody benefits from that, because there's no way to fulfill your purpose doing what everybody else thinks that you should be doing. And those people who tell you what you should be doing aren't going to receive the blessing of your leadership, because you're not going to be standing where you know you're supposed to be standing.
When we stand in a place of knowing why we're here and standing in the confidence of that, and then being able to stand in front of somebody and say, hey, look, I see that you need this. I'm here to help you get that when you're ready, right? They may have ideas. We all have ideas. We are very uncomfortable with the needs that we all have. We want them answered, but we don't know how to answer them.
We try to attach what's to it.
Exactly, because we're trying to solve the problem that a need causes in our life. When you know your worth based on why you're here, you change lives. Lives are transformed right before your very eyes, because you're meeting a real need, and you're not backing away from that, so that you can stand in front of somebody and go, I know that that's what you think you need, but you just said that you need this, right? So here's the solution that's actually going to help answer that need. And I've seen people so many times, leaders, groups, families, companies, have that conversation in a real way and quickly move through things that they've been stuck in for years.
Yeah, well, there's so many people who they attach a tag to the problem, and then they try to put a Band-Aid on that external problem. And maybe it works for a little bit, but after a few years, maybe even a few decades, it kind of just falls apart, and there's really no way to move forward without actually fixing the problem at its heart.
Yeah, and it's not sustainable, because the Band-Aid, like you said, is going to fall off at some point, right? It's not meant to stay on there forever. And it's going to fall off at some point. The company's going to fall off the rails. The relationship's going to fall away. It's going to fall apart because there are fundamental needs not being met.
But on the flip side of that, that company would not go off the rails, and that relationship would not fall apart if that original need was answered.
Agreed. And continued to be answered at deeper and deeper levels, which, as you clarify your purpose, that's exactly what happens is you understand why you're here, and then you can start to look at that need that you're here to meet, and your understanding of how to meet that need deepens and deepens and deepens over time. So those are the three things. Clarify your purpose, align all you do with that purpose, and lead from that purpose. And in that, know that here's what you're going to be confronted with as you start to walk that out is, one, you're gonna come face to face with the lie that your purpose is a what. Because in order to understand and clarify your purpose, you have to understand it's a why and then clarify what that is. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you're going to come face to face with you're not enough. You're going to come face to face with that lie that you are not enough, and you're going to have to look at it. And then as you clarify your purpose, that's the power of clarifying your purpose, is that you get to look at that and go, oh, wait, I am enough. Who I am, my desires, my limitations, things that I'm great at, all of those things are there for a reason. My personality, all of those things now have context. And you can take a look at it and go, wow, I'm actually enough. Be it you as a leader, you as a company, the people that are in your company, you get to look at that and go, wow, we are actually enough. We have everything that we need. Or if you don't, you'll see it very clearly. And then you can maneuver and get those things. Like maybe your product list, your service list answers the need to a specific level, but you know that you need to go deeper. That's where new product development and new service development comes out of. New processes and systems come out of that very place of being able to look at and go, why are we here? How do we fulfill on that? Right? And then you realize you actually are enough and you have the ability to be enough. And then within that, you know your value. So you can stand, as a business, for example, you can stand in the marketplace and go, this is the value that we bring. And we don't have to apologize to that. We don't have to undersell that. We don't have to undercut that. This is our price. This is the value we bring. And this is how we bring it and why we bring it that way, because we're here to meet this need in your life. And this is how it needs to be done. So coming all the way back around to the first question I asked, how do you figure out, is your value at risk? If you're answering, what do you do with what you do, you're being devalued. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed.
Yeah, well, also, if you're drawing your value based off of what you do, then your value is at risk big time for sure.
Absolutely. And so I just want to explain what I meant by that. When you answer what you do with what you do, here's why you're going to be devalued. Simply because when somebody asks you what you do, they're not asking what do you do. They're actually asking you, why are you here?
They're asking, how can you help me?
Exactly. Because we all carry those needs around, and we're just hoping we're going to meet somebody that day that is going to help us with one of those core needs, because we know that we need an answer to those things in order to move forward ourselves. So when I say, what do you do? What I'm actually asking you is, why are you here? Because I need your help. So I just want to encourage you. You're listening to this podcast. I want to encourage you not to sell out on your purpose. Don't settle for where you're not supposed to be. Stand where you are meant and need to be, because we need your valued leadership. Your family needs it. Your company needs it. Your friends need it. Your community needs it. Our countries need valuable leaders. And that's why we've put this podcast together. Everything that we're doing here is to empower you, to lead you, to be valued leaders at home, at work, in your communities, and beyond that. And the way to do that is to fulfill your purpose. So you got to know why you're here. It's so important, and it's the pivotal foundation for it all.
Leadership is hard, which is why the Valued Podcast is here for you. Realize your purpose and be the valued leader you need to be everywhere you go. So if today's episode blessed you in any way, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Then head over to wcompany.ca to see how our on-demand courses and live events teach you how to be valued in all your key relationships, at home, work, in your community, and beyond. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get you valued everywhere you go.